How's it going, Gearslutz? My name is Roy Ziv. We're here at NAMM 2020, and we're about to check out the new Spark amp and app by Positive Grid. So Spark is a very unique amp because it's designed to work in conjunction with an accompanying app. And the app is very unique because there's tons of different features, and one of the main features is that it can jam along with you while you're playing. You have access to over 10,000 different tones that are all powered by the Bias Tone Engine by Positive Grid. So if you've ever used Bias Effects or Bias Amp, you know how phenomenal those tones sound. It's the same technology that we use to make those plugins is used for the sound in these amps. You can also learn and practice tons of different songs because it'll give you the chords for that song all in real time. So it'll analyze the songs that you choose, and in real time it'll go through the chords, and I'll show you all that in a second. Now, the amp itself works like every great other amp, so it works standalone, so you don't always have to be connected to the actual app. Over here, you've got your 7-tone switch right here, which also includes bass guitar and acoustic guitar, so you're not just limited to electric guitar. The rest of the sounds are clean, glassy, crunch, high gain, and metal. These are great starting points, but the amp really shines once you tweak some of the knobs and get a sound that you really like. So some of the other knobs are just the same knobs you'll have on every other great amp. You've got your gain, you've got your 3-way tone stage, you've got master volume that controls the entire channel, and then you got 3 dedicated knobs for effects. You've got your modulation knob, you've got your delays, and you've got your reverbs, and then you've got a master output for the entire thing. Up top over here, you have 4 user presets that once you've tweaked it and you found a sound that you really like, a tone that you really like, you can save it into any one of these banks so you can recall that whenever you want. In the back, there's a USB out, so if you want to record, all you got to do is plug the amp in to your computer. It's going to get recognized right away as Spark, and then you'll be able to record the same sounds that you hear. There's also a headphone out, and there's an auxiliary in as well. Now, in terms of the app is a real-time interface for the amp, and what that means is whatever I control on the actual app is going to change the sound that's coming out of the amp, and whatever I change on the amp you're going to visually see change on the actual app, and the sound is going to change as well. Now, on the app, everything is tweakable, so I can change pretty much everything I want. I can take effects out, I can drop other effects in, and I can go in and change any one of these effects. So compressors, for example, I've got 5 different compressors. Drives, I've got 9 different drives, 30 different amps, including acoustic and bass. I've got high gain tones, clean tones, crunchy tones, pretty much any modulation you can think of. Tons of different delays, including echo tape, which sounds really cool. It's one of my favorites. And you got the reverb. Let me drag that in there to the signal chain. I got about 9 different reverbs. Now, if all those tones aren't enough, you also have access to the Tone Cloud, Positive Grid's Tone Cloud. The Tone Cloud is a community of people that once they have tones that they like, they can upload it to the Tone Cloud. Positive Grid is going to have tones that we're going to be uploading to the Tone Cloud, and it's always going to keep updated. Close that. We're always going to keep updating that as well. Plus users from around the world, the community, everyone's going to keep uploading the tone, and you have access to all those as well. You can upload your own tones, you can download tones. Whatever tones you download onto the app, you can send to the amp, and you can save them into any one of these presets. So if you bring this anywhere, you don't always have to be connected to the app. Now, in terms of connection, we're using Bluetooth here. There's a dedicated Bluetooth interface that syncs up to the app. And as you can see, there's 2 Spark amps in the same room right now, and they're both working seamlessly. So there's absolutely no interference. You can have 100 different Bluetooth devices in the same room, and there's going to be no interference. It's going to work really nice and clear. Now, the app as well, let me close that out. The app connects to your Spotify playlist as well as your Apple playlist, and on top of that, you have access to the entire YouTube music library. And from there, you can choose a song. I'm going to go to some of my liked songs I've already saved. But you can choose a song. And it's going to play and stream directly through the amp. So you can use this as a speaker as well. And once that's playing, I can go back to my tones, find the tone that works along with that, and then jam on top of that. Now, once a song is loaded, the app is actually going to, let me pull that back up. The app is actually going to analyze the chords for you and give you the chord diagrams all in real time. So it's going to scroll through that as a song is playing from YouTube, whatever song you chose, and it's going to give you the chords. Now, if some of these chords are a little bit more complicated, maybe there's too many bar chords in some of these chords and you're not very good at bar chords, you can click the virtual capo, and if it works for some of the songs, some songs it's just not going to work. But if it works for the song, for this one it did, it'll tell you put the capo on 7th fret, and then it changed the chords around to give you a lot simpler chords like open chords. If you're having trouble learning any of the parts of the song, you can speed it up, slow it down. You can also loop different sections. So if I click loop, I can drag this along and I can loop whatever section I want, and then I can slow that down. If I click this, I can slow it down to 50%, I can slow it down to 80%, or back up to full speed without changing the pitch at all. So it's a great learning tool when you're first learning songs. Now, I like to use it for backing tracks because as a backing track is playing, it'll go through all the chords. So if I'm teaching my students or if I'm playing myself, I can try maybe playing the arpeggios that pertain to each one of those chords as it goes along. So it's really fun. Now, that's just backing tracks from YouTube, but Spark also has backing tracks in the actual app itself in different styles. So you have pop, rock, funk, blues, and we're always going to be updating that with different genres. And when you click that, you're going to get a drum and a bass backing track. Just pause that. And if you want, you can slow that down, speed that up. And it's structured similar to a song. So you're going to have a verse, a chorus, a bridge, an outro, and the groove's going to change when you get to all these different spots in the song, so it's really going to spark your creativity when you're practicing. You can also change this to different grooves so you're not just stuck to that groove. Now, the cool thing about this, which I mentioned earlier, is there's something called the Smart Jam. And Smart Jam jams along with you while you're playing. So how that works is I click Create. Right here, it's still in beta mode, but eventually there's going to be a bunch of different profiles, and each profile is going to be similar to a different genre. Right now there's a guy named Dave. He likes rock and roll and likes to play loud and power chords. So I click Let's Jam. I tap my tempo, and then I play a few chords. The app recognizes those chords, analyzes those chords, and then gives me a backing track with drums and bass right away with the same chords that I played in the same tempo and whatever genre that I chose. And again, just like the other backing tracks, they're structured similar to a song, so the groove is going to change when it gets to the chorus, when it gets to the verse, when it gets to the outro. Really fun. So it's packed with different features. I think it sounds phenomenal. I love using it. You can just being able to tweak pretty much anything you want in the actual amps. You can get any sound you can think of, any sound that's in your head. Or if you're not very good at tweaking sounds, you can download the sounds that we already have in the Tone Cloud. It comes with a great little strap. There's also voice commands, so I can click the little microphone. I can say, Spark, play me a blues backing track, and it'll give me a blues backing track. Or Spark, play along with me, and it'll open up the Smart Jam. And yeah, aside from that, you've got a metronome, you've got a tuner in the app. You've also have a built-in fine tuner over here. Tons of different features. Talked about the headphone. Now, when you're playing music, when you're streaming music, this actually it has its own little volume control right here. So it's not two different knobs. It's got two different knobs, so you're not limited to just one knob, so I can find the right balance. One thing I like to do is I love playing with backing tracks to my own songs, but I hate having to set up my amp and then get speakers as well to play it through my phone or whatever I'm using. So here, everything's coming out through the same speaker, and they sound really good. Speakers themselves, you got two custom designed speakers that work in stereo, so they're really going to allow you to feel that low end, and you're really going to hear those crystal clear highs. Cool. This is available at positivegrid.com, and it's going to be going for under $300. I'm Roy Ziv, here with Gearslutz at NAMM 2020. Thanks.